Hey guys, Johnny Nerd out here. Today I'm at the shop. We're going to be doing a overview on all the Bafang displays. It's going to be kind of a brief overview because if I want to do a deep dive, it's going to be an hour-long video, and I know only some of you guys would like that, but for most of us, we just want to see what all the displays generally look like, what the layouts look like, how they function, and I'm going to try to give you a brief overview of the main functionality of the displays. I'm sure I'm going to miss some of it, but I'm going to do my best to hit all the main points and kind of give you a run through of, hopefully what the displays look like, what the menu displays look like, all that stuff. Help you make a better decision trying to choose between what display you want to get when you're riding these things for, thousands and thousands of miles and you got to stare at this thing. If you guys have any questions, if you guys need help, going deeper dive, go to johnnynerd.com, all your help. Book a consultation if you really want to talk to me or speak with me. Otherwise, call the shop, leave a voicemail if we don't pick up. Other than that, let's get right into it. Okay, now this is the 800S. It's also the 965. There's a couple different ways they describe it. There's also, I think, a 965A, which has a built-in light detector in here. This one does not have it. This is the 800S. This is the standard black and white display. It comes with a separate toggle switch here. So to turn this on so we could actually see it, I'm going to press and hold the plus button, which turns on the light. You can see this is going to be more of a basic display. It's going to show just a battery gauge there. It's not going to have an actual voltage. It's going to tell you your speed right there, your pedal assist levels, and down below you toggle between the power and it'll kind of tell you all the different information you kind of want. Max speed, all the stuff. It's going to have all the basic stuff. The display is going to be pretty basic. Let's see if we can get back to it. You're going to press and hold the plus and minus. Let's just reset. That's the backlight. That's your maximum speed. That's your off timer. And then if you press it and hold it again while you're in the display, it's going to ask for your code. It's 051. 0512, sorry. Wheel size, maximum speed, how many pedal assist levels you want, and this is all stuff you don't need. So that's the 800S. If you just want a very basic display, this is the one. You're like, I don't really care. I want to keep my costs as cheap as possible. I just want to see how fast I'm going. Rough battery gauge. And this is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. So it's a plus or minus 20% of accuracy. So if you really want to be accurate with your battery, don't get this display. If you just I don't really care. 20% is fine. I'm not going far. I just need to know how far I've gone, how fast I'm going, things like that. This is a good display for that. It's also pretty water resistant and weatherproof. So, all right. Okay, this is the 500C. Let's see if I can get that a little bit better focus. Here we go. This is the 500C. This has been my go-to recommendation for probably the last 3 years or so. Now it's a toss-up. I'd say the 600C is a better display. This one's a little bit smaller, so if you need to go with stealthness, go with the 500C. It's nice and easy. It's only got these 2 buttons here. And then these really 2 small buttons underneath here, which I don't know if you could see that. I got it determined for the screen. But there's a power button here, and then there's the mode button, and then your plus and minus right here. I like this display. Right behind the sticker, it shows you your voltage. And another thing about this display is there's 2 peel screens. People always get this and they're like, it's still sometimes that peel off sticker is there, sometimes it's not. But it'll show you your wattage, how much power your motor is drawing in real time, your speed, your headlight notifier, your kind of like your check engine light underneath it, your pedal assist levels right here, and your battery gauge. Again, these are not accurate whatsoever. Always go by voltage. And you could hit the mode button to change underneath the speed what you want to keep track of, what you want your focus to be. And then if you want to go into the main menu, you press and hold that menu button for about 2 seconds. Here you can change the metric system, how bright, auto off, what battery voltage you're using. So the battery gauge can be a little bit more accurate, but still is just not going to be. You could have it be voltage, and then you go to more. Once the code, it's 11919. Here you could set the size of your wheels, speed limit. So if you're giving this to somebody else, you can set the speed limit to be like 15 miles an hour. Speed pulls, start pulls, you don't need to worry about that. How many pedal assist levels you want. Some people like to have 3, some people want 5, some people like to have 9. Nothing wrong with whatever you choose. Don't let anybody tell you that. If you want to have a start password, what the pin is. Some people want to have it so it's like a little security so nobody can steal their bike and get out of here. So that's a 500C. It's a little bit nice. This has to be mounted on the left-hand side because of the way that if you could see that, this is how it goes. It has to be mounted on the left hand of your handlebars. All right. Okay, we've got the 600C color display here. Let's turn it on. That's a cool intro. So you'll see you're going to have your power output in real time. So when you're full throttling this thing, it's going to show you, whether or not it's how many watts you got going. Next to it on the right is going to be your real-time voltage, which is really nice. There's a rough battery gauge here, but that's never accurate. I never go by that. I always go by this. The digital rage. People are always like, it's not accurate. I'm like, I know. None of them are. Even on they're never accurate on any bike. Never go by that. No matter what e-bike you have, they're almost never accurate. It's going to tell you how fast you're going, what pedal assist level you're in. You're going to toggle it by pressing the power button really quick. It's going to show you your speed, power. It's just a different layout right here. Hit it again. It's going to have you a little bit more information. 2 times, 2 trips, I should say, where time and speed and distance. Your odometer, your estimated range left, which is nice. Max speed, average speed, and then it goes back. And then to get into the menu, you're going to double quick press the power button, and it's going to let you change the language, system, which is going to have all that stuff. So that's cool. You could prioritize what you want to have on there. Most people would probably want range, I'm assuming. Or odometer, that's what I would want. I like to see how many miles I get. But yeah, there's a lot of customizing with this display. This is the upgrade up over the 500C. This is going to be probably my new favorite display. Just a heads up. If you don't need USB charging, this is the display to go with probably. Okay, now we have the P850C display. This is the cousin. It's in the family of the DPC14, DPC18, a couple other ones. I like this one. It has a USB output on it, so if you need to charge your phone, charge lights, this is a good option. If you need a USB, this is pretty much one of your only options, actually. I like this one because it's a little bit more weatherproof than the DPC18, and it's a little bit more high res than the DPC14, in my experience. So I stopped, as a vendor, I stopped carrying those 2 other ones in favor of this one, but that's just my opinion. So I'm going to power it on. And this one is nice. It's got the bigger bracket. So if you have a thicker handlebar, you're going to be looking at these center mount ones. So this would be a center mount. This would mount right on the center of your handlebar. This one's got a bigger display. So if you're a little bit blind, if you're like, I like to have the big numbers. I don't know. In my opinion, the numbers are about the same size as even the small displays. It's just the screen itself is bigger. So people are like, I want to get the big display because I'm blind. It's like, well, the numbers are going to be about the same size. It's just the screen is bigger. The numbers are the same. But this is nice. It has a little bit more of like a tachometer, like a car dashboard for like your speed, and then it'll kind of go as you go. And this one is nice because it has the light sensor on it. So right now it senses that it's dark in here, so the light is on. So if you had the headlight attached to this, it would turn that on automatically. You don't have to worry about toggling it on and off. This one will show you a clock up there, your voltage, and your battery gauge, which is never accurate. Always go by the voltage. And then you could, I like having a clock on hand. It is actually kind of a nice feature. So if you're looking for a feature-rich one out of the gate, this is a nice display. It shows you the clock, and you got a USB port just for that, and it's got the voltage on it. And so you can cycle through the pedal assist levels, toggle between what information you want to be shown. And then we could go into the display, press and hold the plus and minus together. Does not do it. Double press the power button, so you never know which one's which. You could toggle between, metric, kilometers, or miles per hour, auto off. This is like pretty much the basic stuff. You could kind of change the scenes, which is like what the actual default screen looks like, which is kind of nice. If you get sick of it, you could always, mix it up a little bit, get crazy. Change the wheel size, change the battery, so your battery gauge is a little bit more accurate. It's never going to be, but it'll be a little bit more accurate. USB port, you could have it set to off, so you don't want to like have a phantom drain on it. And here, just speed limit assist, or speed limit. You can set it to however you want. How many pedal assist levels you want, any error codes, etc. This interface is very similar to the 750C. Must have been the same programming. It's just a little bit different setup. This one has also a separate on-off switch, you can see here, but it's got a connection here. So if you need to make an extension, if you want to put this, like if you have a trike or something like that, and you want to put this somewhere else, you can. You could put you could disconnect this, put however length of HIGO connector you need in there, and then you're good to go. All right, so this is the P850C. Okay, here we go. We got the 750C. This is the Bluetooth edition. This has a separate toggle switch as well. It's a hardwired into the display, so you cannot make an extension cable on this. So for those that are making trikes and things like that where you need to run an extension, can't do it. So you're going to press and hold it on from here. It's going to say welcome. So you can see this is a little bit bigger display. This one, it mounts right here, so this is going to go on the center of your stem, of your handlebars. So for some people that's a good option, for some people it's not. You just want to know. So this is going to have the voltage, which is really good. Next to it's going to have a rough battery gauge. Not accurate. It's going to tell you how many watts you're using in real time, what pedal assist level you're currently using, your speed next to it, your odometer. You could hit the power button really quick and it kind of cycles through everything you could see. Let's see if we hit the menu button or the mode button, it'll change right there if you want to set your max, real time. Let's see, how do we get into the display? Menu is a double click of the mode button. You could select hit the power button to switch to the basic settings. And let's see, this is going to be, almost all of these are 1919. You can set your speed limit, how many assist levels you want, and any error codes that are possibly showing you. Now this is the Bluetooth version, so I think what the main difference with this is it will tell you navigation. So if you have this hooked up, you got to download the app. But it'll tell you, if you punch in your GPS where you're going, you can put your phone away and then it'll have like little arrows that'll tell you turn left, turn right, you know, things like that, which can be kind of nice. So maybe this display might be right for you. Okay, here we've got the T1. This is the touchscreen one. This one also has a USB, but it's the USB-C. It's not the standard USB port. For some people this will be more convenient. For some people it won't. And this one also has, you know, a separate toggle switch. It's not built into the display, and it has a connector here. So if you need to elongate this, you can buy an extension cable. I will be carrying that, so if you do need one, let me know. Yeah, so you could mount this on a trike, recumbent, whatever. Okay, let's get into what it looks like. Fancy. So that's pretty cool. This will actually show you watt hours, energy consumption, average watt hours per mile or kilometer, speed mileage. That's pretty cool over time. So that's actually really cool. Everything is just pretty much touch screen. That's kind of cool. Show your temperature, automatic shutdown, your gauge, your wheel, battery, what kind of voltage you have, USB port, whether you want it to be active or not, light sensor. So this one does have a built-in light sensor, so it'll turn your lights on automatically. Offset voltage, that's kind of cool. So if you're finding that it's not accurate, like if you have a voltmeter and you go on your battery and you find that the display is not showing it, you could offset that. So that's really cool. That's kind of cool. It'll go through, tell you what your battery is, full charge capacity. So that's kind of good that it shows you a lot of battery information as well. How many times you cycled it. So if you bought your battery brand new and you bought this with this brand new, you can have a gauge of how many cycle times you've had. So if you're taking really good care of it, you could get 1,000 charge cycles on your battery, and it'll say how many times you've charge cycled it. I'm guessing it's going to go from completely empty to full. This is definitely a premium display. It's going to have the center mount, so it's going to go in the middle of your handlebars. For some people that will be good. For some people it may not be good. You have to decide on what you need. If you have thick handlebars, these will work better for it. Sometimes these work good to get the cluster away from it. But this is a really premium display. I would say the only thing that's more premium than this one is probably going to be the Egg Rider, but depending on, you know, what your needs are, this may be the most premium. So if you're somebody who just wants the best of the best, T1 is probably going to be your bet, or the Egg Rider. But if you don't need any of those, you know, there's plenty of other awesome options out there based on what you need. Okay, so here we go. This is the Egg Rider. This is by far the smallest display. It's based on the SW102 display. A lot of displays come in that SW102 housing. Egg Rider just put better brains in it. It's very small. It's very sleek. There's down and up button, menu button, and the power button up top. Very small. To power it on, you press the top button here. Get that. So you can see it's very small. The numbers are a little bit smaller than the bigger displays, but still very bright. It's just a black and white display. This is very small, but very, very smart display. I would say this is the premium display, but it's a tie between the T1 depending on what you want. This is Bluetooth, so this actually pairs with your phone and it allows you to program your controller from your phone. There's a big difference between programming your display from the display to do minor tweaks like setting your top speed and all that, and then there's a big difference between being able to program all your parameters of your controller from the companion app. But this is really nice. It'll show your voltage way at the top, your percentage top right. There's two different modes here, which is road and off-road. So you could have two separate parameters of programming on this. So if you want to have street legal, and not street legal, tap of a button, you could have two totally different program settings. So let's say if you are, a couple and you guys are sharing the bike and you're like, well, I like mine programmed differently. And then when you get on, you're like, well, I'm road and you're off-road. Think of this as just A and B, which is really nice. So you could have two separate parameters for the same bike, two different riders. It'll tell you how far you've been riding or how long you've been riding and how far you've gone. And I think if you press and hold it, it'll tell you in detail. You can kind of see in there. I use this a lot because it'll tell you how many watt hours per mile or kilometer you've been using, which is really good for calculating how much range you have. But there is also a range on it that'll kind of tell you. I wouldn't totally trust that. It'll tell you how many watt hours you've used, how many milliamp hours you've used. It's just tons of data. If you want data, this is the one to go with. And then if you want even more data, this is the app. So you get the app and it turns your phone into a bigger display. So if you're like, this is way too small, get the app, and now whatever size phone you have, that's the size of the display you have. It'll tell you your speed, your voltage, your battery percentage. I don't have this one linked to this, but it'll tell you your watt hours per mile, and you could program it from here, just like if you were using the Bafang programming software on your desktop. It's the same thing on this, but you could do it in real time, like as you're riding, which is pretty nuts. It's pretty awesome. So, yeah, just like that, read, write. You set your battery settings, calibrate your battery if you're getting it off readings a little bit. For some people, this is going to be too much. It's just like, I don't need this. But for other people, this is the sweet spot. This is the display that I have on my personal bike. On my Bafang, my original Benno, I put the egg writer on it because I just can't get enough data. So this is awesome. Okay, so hopefully that helped you guys get a little bit better idea of all the different displays, what they look like, kind of what their functionality is, and what kind of functions that you're really going to need. Especially the big ones for me are USB charging, whether or not you need to charge your phone or lights while you're out on a really long ride, something like that. For me personally, I don't need that, but for you, you might be like, nah, I plan on doing multi-day bike camping trips and I don't want to bring a whole setup or whatever. It's nice to have USB for those situations. The other functions are the size. Do you want something that's big that takes up a lot of handlebar space? Some people don't have a lot of handlebar space, so you need to get something small. Maybe you're getting an egg rider, which is the most advanced one. You're not even going to use the functions, but you just need that small display. If you are going that route, I'd probably recommend just trying to find a SW102. It's the dumb version of the egg rider. If you're just looking for something kind of basic, generally I always tell people the black and white stock one, the 800S, is just if you just want something. You're like, I don't really care. Next step up, I always recommend going at least the 500C because it really is a big jump. It'll tell you a lot more information, help you troubleshoot issues way easier. And now that the 600C is out, it's a little bit better and it's like the same price. So for me, I'm like, I think my new favorite is the 600C. And then from there, it's just kind of based on, do you need navigation? Do you need USB charging? Do you want to have the display mounted on the left side of your bar, on the right side, or do you need to have it in the middle? Some people don't have space. So between those factors, hopefully this helped you. If you have any other questions, go to johnnynerdout.com. Be glad to help you out more there. Book a consultation. And take it easy, guys.